Right. First, I set up this, right, new channel on YouTube, kind of Agents of Slaughter.
Nice.
Right? I thought that was quite a cool name for a channel.
Well, it is. It's a little bit violent looking, maybe. For
Agents of
YouTube.
Slaughter, I mean, you're not going to have a smiley face there. You know? You need like the... I don't know. I thought like a grim visual, and then AOS I thought even sounded alright, kind of punchy, the AOS.
Yeah.
Agents of Slaughter Plus. I thought that literally just like the name, like considering that a lot of the time when we're talking, and the fact that like where our views and opinions and thoughts sit are definitely on like, say, not the snowflake side of things, we definitely could be seen as Agents of Slaughter because people get bent out of shape by things that we talk about.
Well, you know what destroys snowflakes?
What?
Happy sunshine.
Plus, I just wanted to rip off Hailstorm.
Oh, okay.
Right. Right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to read this, right? I'm going to read this. Do you know who Jocko Willink is?
No.
Right, he's an ex-US Navy SEAL, but he's a podcaster.
Oh my god.
And at the start of each podcast he reads something, right? And I want you to read this because I want you to refresh my mind what this said, right? Let's see. Eve, according to the Bible, was fashioned from Adam's rib. Yet if genetics has surprised racists by revealing that the cradle of humanity is Africa, it has also surprised male chauvinists. DNA has revealed that the Book of Genesis got the story the wrong way around. By default, human beings are genetically programmed to be female. Jump to the next bit. Why can't a man be more like a woman? That's what this fucking question says. The discovery of the underlying genetic reason for the difference between the sexes was made independently and appropriately by a woman and a man. In 1905, Nettie Stevens and Edmund Beecher Wilson noticed that male and female cells varied in chromosomal, that's a funny word, isn't it? Chromosomal structure. While females had 2 copies of the large chromosome, the X, males had just one, along with another much smaller chromosome, the Y. They'd identified the system by which sex is determined in many animals, including humans. Women have the chromosomal type XX, while men are XY. When meiosis separates pairs of chromosomes, I had to Google what that meant. That's like a cell division process which cuts the number of chromosomes in half. Eggs basically always carry an X, sperm carry an X or a Y. The X-bearing sperm will produce girls when they fertilise egg. Y-bearing sperm will produce boys. For the first 6 weeks of gestation, both male and female embryos develop in identical fashion. They would continue to do so to produce babies that look female without the action of a single Y chromosome gene. A woman's extra X chromosome sends no extra signal that makes her into a woman. That is the way people will be without the intervention of a gene called SRY, which is the masculinity switch. SRY was discovered in 1990 by Robin Lowell Badge and Peter Goodfellow, and it stands for Sex Determining Region Y and is the biological key to sex. Those who have a working copy will grow a penis, testicles and beard, while those who lack one will develop a vagina, womb and breasts. It is perhaps the most influential single gene in the human body, right? So let's look at that. Wee bit of past context. Did you see Mikey's post on Facebook?
No.
No? So he posted something a couple of days ago about a rainbow coloured poppy, right?
I seen it. I never read the entire thing because I just thought, oh, for God's sake.
Well, for what I can gather, it either didn't exist when it was brought up, although it might do now. I can't remember. I never even looked into if it is a thing. But by the sounds that it was created, basically to stir shite. Basically, kind of whole, it should be a red poppy. They get black poppies, they get red poppies, but they're making a fuss about this rainbow poppy, right? So I ended up putting a comment on it because some chick put a comment saying that Alan Turing, can you know who Alan Turing is?
I know the name.
Computer scientist, cracked the Nazi code. He's like the forefather of computer science and AI and algorithm and all that. She commented saying that he was killed for being gay. And it was like, well, that's not entirely true, so I need to nip in there and rectify that, because he wasn't killed for being gay. He was found guilty in a criminal court for being gay and then chemically castrated before killing himself. But it was made out that he was basically executed for being gay. Anyway, so I gets up this morning, I put on YouTube, and the first video that I come across, right? Piers Morgan on Good Morning Britain. I think that guy's alright. I've only ever heard folks slag him off, yet every fucking video that I've seen of him in the last 5 days, because it's only 5 days I've probably seen any of him, everything he says, fair enough, he's an antagonist, but he's always asking decent questions of idiots that didn't have much reasonable rebuttal, right? It's always like they're ignoring points or whatever. But he was recently under scrutiny by Ofcom because he was talking about multi-genders, and he flippantly said that he was something like a two-brained penguin, and there was the most complaints at any show this year was him saying that. And the only reason that he never got sacked is because the folk on the Good Morning Britain realm never gave him more grief on the panel, which sounds ridiculous anyway. So this video, apparently now there are 100 genders.
Fuck off.
100, right? And I had to look into a wee bit of this because they mentioned a couple. There's one called astrogender. Take a guess what that is.
Space? Alien?
Something to do with these people feel that their gender or their sexuality or whatever is somehow determined in part or wholly to do with the alignment of the planet and the stars. Right? There's another one called vape gender. Right? Vape gender. I can't quite remember the gender.wiki page. There's a gender.wiki. I never knew this till I googled vape gender, and the first thing that came up, gender.wiki.
Oh my god.
And the definition of that is something along the lines of upon first looking at it, much like smoke, it is shallow, but if you dig deeper, it becomes more invisible, but there's more in there. That's the sexuality now, right?
What?
Going down a whole fucking list of them, butch apparently is a gender, because that gender is to do with gender that's been assigned mainly to do with lesbians and whatever. So I imagine prior to that it was a derogatory term, right? Because butch is not a sexuality. Butch is like an adjective that people would use to describe somebody, right?
Yes.
And when you look at it, these genders, right, they're assigning gender types and gender names and more genders to the list of genders by basically assigning personality characteristics or physical attributes as a gender. And when people get fucking sick of listening to how ridiculous that is, and they challenge and question that sort of ridiculous rhetoric, that's when everyone goes fucking daft, and the next thing there's a guy is up on Ofcom for, he potentially lose his job.
I'm goth gender.
Goth gender. I'm no fucks given gender. You know? It's fucking crazy though, because the BBC are apparently, and I've not seen this, but they were talking about it on the news, the BBC are apparently running programmes right now that are aimed at children, teaching them that there are 100 genders.
No.
What do you make of that?
First of all, there's a couple of points that I've been gathering in my head, right? There are 2 genders.
Well, this is why I wanted to start with the whole Jocko-inspired start with it. This book, 50 Genetics Ideas. It's like these should... It's difficult to wrap your fucking head around.
The only time that I will accept that there are possibly 3 genders is when somebody is a hermaphrodite.
That's funny. I was speaking to Tappy earlier and he said about that as well. I think it's potentially really dangerous
It is.
spieling that kind of
Crap.
nonsensical rhetoric, group identity philosophy, whatever you want to call it, teaching that to children.
Little sponge heads.
Exactly, you know. So you've got a child's fucking physically growing and mentally maturing, and then even before they hit puberty, all the hormonal changes, emotional fucking mess in their wee heads as they're growing and becoming young adult, they're now having this nonsense chucked on top of that.
The whole astro gender thing, where they're saying that their gender is determined by the alignment of the stars, and that is basically just they're taking what's it called, like horoscopes, and what's the collective term for all that pseudoscience?
Astrology. No,
Yeah.
or astronomy
astrology.
Astronomy is the one to do with the position of planets
that's
and
the actual real
the actual
science.
science. That, and astrology is today all the hippy dippy pseudo nonsense.
Yes.
Like open the paper, you're gonna have a good day.
Yeah.
Shit, because you were born in this state.
Well, I mean, they've already had this idea in astrology, which, you know, is far more acceptable to me than this 100 genders bullshit, where the alignment of the stars and the planets and everything determines what kind of mental, personal characteristics you're going to have. You know? Why? Oh, my God.
Well, see, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I mean, right? It's this whole fucking movement, this idea, right? Whether it's LGBT, right, or whether it's the LGBTAAX, whatever you said. There's not enough letters in that. You need to go through the alphabet 4 fucking times to get all 100, like legitimately.
LGBTQIAA.
Right. My reckoning is basically that this whole fucking first world issue, which is what it is, because I don't imagine that in the third world there's too much of this nonsense
I don't think there's going to be any of this fucking nonsense
happening or being thought or whatever, because in the third world there's third world issues: poverty, famine, disease, overpopulation, all that, right? They've got their own issues. They don't have the time nor the fucking effort in them or whatever to pursue these ideological pursuits.
How I wish to live in Africa now.
First world problems. It's like, and don't get me wrong, obviously, like this isn't like a slate on like the LGBT or even, well, especially anything like trans people or gay people or lesbians or that in general. This is more to do with basically what I would construe to be a majority of mentally ill people hijacking every fucking thing that they can get their hands on. You know, there was even a sexuality that's been assigned for something to do with your sexual attraction comes after making an emotional connection. That's not a fucking sexuality. That's a preference in dating. That's being a fucking good Catholic. Right? So does that mean that every fucking Catholic that will not sleep with their partner before marriage, does that mean that they're now this fucking 68th gender, this 75th gender? Jesus. Every avenue is going fucking crazy. Totally fucking crazy.
The other thing that I wanted to say as well is this whole movement and trying to change society's thinking and everything and impose all this shit on us and our children is getting ridiculous. I have not been able to go a single day in the last week. Since however long ago it was that I was having that debate on Facebook, I've not gone one single day without somebody mentioning something to do.
It's everywhere, that's what I mean. It's been that everything has been hijacked by this rhetoric. Like, I did not want to put this big comment on Mikey's post earlier on, you can. In fact, I wasn't ganty until I saw that video. You can, because I'd literally bypassed all this nonsense spiel about the fucking rainbow poppy and fucking gay equality and all this crap. Even that does me nothing. Like, this pursuit of equality. Gay people, trans people, black people, white people, fucking Catholics, proddies, Muslims, anyone here in our fucking first world, right? They come over here and we've all got an equality of opportunity, right? That is a thing. Me and you and anyone else out there, we're all allowed to apply for jobs. If we can't afford a house, we're all allowed to apply for housing. We're all allowed to walk down the street and not be publicly shamed. That's not to say that you're not going to get people that don't abide by that level of decency, morality, socially acceptable behaviour. But then there's someone out there that thinks I'm a fucking cunt just because I'm white. There's definitely a racist fucking person out there that's racist against whites. There's definitely men out there that hate women. There's obviously going to be people that don't like fucking gay people, right? That doesn't mean that the whole of society needs hijacked by it. And what I didn't get is why that kind of nonsense is even being accepted by the likes of the LGBT. Because Alan Turing, right, well, just going back to him, at the end of the war, saved 14 million lives, they reckon, ended the war 2 years early, cracked the Nazi fucking code. Genius mind, chemically castrated for being into dudes. Ended up killing his son as a result. Fucking shocking, tyrannical fucking treatment of people. Shocking. Right? The Queen only pardoned him 6 years ago. The Queen could have pardoned him the day she went into fucking, it got inaugurated. But she never. Now, I don't recall hearing or looking for any information that the Queen was actually being pressured by, say, the LGBT, but I imagine that this, in the last 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, 10 years or whatever, when it's went fucking crazy, I imagine that that is probably why she done it, right? But to get back to what I was saying, I just don't understand why decent people in the likes of the LGBT would entertain this level of absurdity. Because I think the whole idea that belittles what they kind of groups have done for the people within their group. Like, that doesn't mean to say that, like, you can't, like, oh, suddenly I'm just going to decide I don't like gay people. It's no that. But it's like when you get up to the Fitba, right? Or you hear people tarring all Fitba fans because there's that small minority of bigoted, racist, violent thugs in the crowd. No, we're not all like that, but there are the fucking idiots. But for some reason, when it comes to LGBT, Z, whatever, AA, whatever, right? I'm not trying to be funny.
I know you're not.
But when it comes to that, right, it's like the fucking idiots have taken over. It just blows my fucking mind. It blows my mind. And again, to the point that this stuff's being taught to children, man, I was
just going to say, let's get back to that.
How utterly I joked with the wee in Tesco earlier on. So I can't remember what I said, but it was like a wee half-arsed joke that was like a slight on all this rhetoric. And the wee was looking at me confused as fuck. And I was like, I'm glad you're confused. Because it freaks me out that the kids are got a skill. They've got an evolving, growing, ever more imaginative and questioning, inquisitive brain, right? They're growing, they've got growing pains, their bodies are going to change, hormones, puberty. And then on top of that, they're going to be confused to absolute fuck because they're going to come out the other end and they're not going to know anything, because instead of being taught proper math and proper English and proper science, they're being taught there's 100 fucking genders and God is fucking real and here's a story about Moses and all this other nonsense. Can you imagine the world being like, if this is the next generation and this is what their entire ground philosophy is going to be, can you imagine them try to run the world? Can you imagine the people that actually give a fuck about tampon packaging running the world? I don't see any president anywhere, or any prime minister, or any of that giving a fuck about it. First world problems. I think it's like a big thing just to keep the masses' attention off bigger issues. Bigger issues, say like Brexit. Keep things quiet, because I don't have a fucking clue what's going on with that, and I've actually seen a few videos on it. I still didn't care what the fuck's going on with the likes of Brexit. But there seems to be so much more all this other stuff going on.
I got told by a customer earlier on today. In fact, what happened was I was serving a customer and there was two people, like, you know, waiting in the queue, and they were chatting amongst themselves quite quietly. They weren't being all loud and abrasive or anything, but I caught a couple of words here and there and I knew what they were talking about. So when the customer I was serving left, I was like, this sounds interesting. And so the guy started ranting and everything about how Wallace Hall Academy, there is a transgender born male turning female, and there's a big tannoy announcement for the entire school saying that everybody must refer to this boy as Suzanne or whatever, and like basically like making it mandatory that other kids like call him a she and call him Suzanne. And
so they're basically compelling speech. So this is basically what like turned me on to Jordan Peterson. This is what made him famous, fighting the Canadian courts to stop laws bringing in compelled speech. I don't think there is fucking laws in Scotland now with speech. That's why I ended up in court. It's ridiculous. Like I just think it's dangerous, and it's going to be counterproductive if it takes a really strong foothold. I'm kind of hoping
it is taking a strong foothold already.
In what way do you mean by that?
The amount of people that were transgender or openly gay or whatever when I was at high school, in my year, one boy was somewhat
feminine. Because you know what?
It was completely feminine. It was openly admitting that he was gay to his friends, but it's not as if he was broadcasting it to the entire school, saying that he must be accepted for who he is and nobody must laugh at him for his My Little Pony lunchbox.
Because it's an entitlement, and they're demanding that sort of whatever you want to call it, respect, special treatment, anything. Why it has to come down to like a tannoy announcement and a forced issue, rather than you bump into that person in the hall and you spark up a conversation and you get to know someone, rather than it being this forced issue. I think, because on this post of Mikey's, right, it's like the people on the other side of the discussion, right, there is so much fucking entitlement. It's no even real. Like, there was a guy, right before I commented on it, I noticed that there was a guy had put a comment on, right? And he said something along the lines of, say he was a gay guy. I'll tell you what, I'll start at the end and then I'll come back to the start. Because I read the whole comment. He was a gay guy, he was in the army, and he was basically saying that because gay guys in the army get it tough, I imagine they would, but it seemed
sure, they would be quite happy surrounded by a lot of men.
Well, here's the fucking thing, like, you hear stories about all sorts of mad shit being fucking rife and all that. Like, it's like, I don't even, this guy in question, he maybe did get it rough, but specifically for being gay? Or is it just a gay guy that happened to get a rough time that decided to assign the reason as being his sexuality? They're two different things, you know?
It goes back to that bloody... Who was it that did that whole stupid bloody... damn it.
What was it?
Was it that bleeding... I can't even fucking remember his...
Well, what was it then? Tell me what it was then. I'll try and remember the name.
Is it 'cause I's black? That whole...
Ali G.
Aye, Ali G. Fuck's sake. Crying out loud. So it's basically just like that. Is it 'cause I's gay? No.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it could be. He maybe was given a hard time because he was gay. But, like, I think if it was so rife throughout the whole of the forces that gays were being persecuted, I'm pretty sure that would be out there. More soldiers would be talking about it. There's going to be a lot more fucking gay soldiers than one soldier that had a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The thing is, though, right, this guy started his comment with, shut the fuck up and get over it. Right? I saw that and I put in my comment, I was like, what would happen if I was just to say to all the gay people, all the trans people, with all their delicate issues, that, because, to put out there again, equality is a fucking thing, right? Mm-hmm. World peace, absolute acceptance is not, but it never will be. And that seems to be what they think is inequality. I brought up the thing about me getting groped by that old woman in the pub again, in this comment. You can? The idea that everything is also unequal for gay people and unequal for trans people. There's inequality everywhere in small doses. So an older female grabs my fucking junk in the middle of the pub. They thought it was fucking hilarious. I walk over and grab a chick by the pussy. I'm getting fucking slapped, battered and arrested. I'm going to jail. That is not very equal. But you didn't see all these fucking men crying about it. You can?
Or there was that chick outside the venue that was absolutely in your face for zero reason other than the fact that you, as per usual, stole her hat. And she was hitting you and punching you and slapping you and everything.
When was that?
Oh, it was like fucking years ago. But you just had to stand there and take it. Because God forbid you slap her back in the same fucking way that she was punching, slapping, screaming in your face.
I don't remember ever getting a black or sore eye, so she could have been hitting me that hard.
Nah, but like, you know, she was like fairly fucking going at you. Because you took the hat off her head. You know?
Well, I said to this guy, basically, you're just an entitled fucking hypocrite. Because that's exactly what it is. You're acting entitled and you're being a hypocrite. Because you sit on a fucking pedestal and demand disrespect or demand that people think a certain way or you demand that their opinion changes or they're a bigot. Yet you open up your statement with shut the fuck up and get over it. Why don't you shut the fuck up and get over it? Just shut the fuck up and get over it. Why do they all know shut the fuck up and get over it? Get the fuck over the tampon package and no one gives a shit. Only they're making such a fuss. Now other people do. Because now there's women out there, or one quote I read, something to do with this is now ignoring the existence of women.
Yeah, well I said that. I said that to fucking AJ when he had posted it. I was like, you know, they're saying that it's ignoring the existence of transgender people and making them feel like they're a burden in society and why should they have to go and buy pink packaging which makes them feel awkward and blah 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 and they should get rid of it. It's like, but there's females out there that maybe want the pink packaging. You know, if you're going to change everything to suit you, then you are then ignoring the existence of pink fluffy women.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's their way or no way. It's either agree with our way or we're gonna brand you a bigot or a racist or a transphobe or a homophobe or any of this. They're fucking Nazis. I do think that the whole way that the people in question, obviously, because again, there's gonna be, I can't like the reasonable humans, let's say, right? The reasonable humans, and there's probably the fucking majority of them, saying the LGBT. I wonder what they think of shit like this. Because I mentioned about Declan, Declan, being in the LGBT and being a trans, and then he's realised, no, confusion, young dude, bought into something that he's been fucking peer pressured into. He's then figured out he's comfortable as he is, and he's made out to be a transphobe, and he's fucking treated like shit. Because again, it's our fucking way, and we demand it, and we demand the entitlement, or we're just going to kick up this massive fucking fuss. Cheesy said earlier on that commenting on it and giving in and talking about it literally plays into it, and it totally does. I'm kind of hoping, that's why I said earlier, like, what do you mean by they put a foothold? Like they've got a foothold, because I mean like a genuine, like, running society foothold, because they're no making, it doesn't seem to be making much difference to the politics, because they're all talking about actual big issues rather than this bollocks to do with what's on the shelf at Tesco, you can.
But when there's changes in schools,
Oh no, you're right, I forgot about that.
and gonna stop revealing genders of babies to pregnant women, can't refer to children in school as boy or girl, forcing other kids to call people by certain names and confusing them and going against what they have learned in biology as male, female. Oh, here's a boy, but now he wants to be a girl, and now I'm being forced to actually call him a girl, even though I know he's not a girl because he's a boy. You know? Mm-hmm. It's like all these changes, it's ridiculous, and like you said earlier, it's dangerous. And after you saying about how you said something to Misha and in Tesco and she looked confused, I'm going to just presume then that day at McDonald's she just genuinely was like, it kind of maybe could be a girl though, what makes you think it's a boy? I just automatically thought, because of this foothold that they've got in society now, that she was genuinely like being all PC.
You know what though, at the time she maybe was thinking of something that she'd heard or seen or whatever, but because she's young enough to not have been entirely converted to using their rhetoric as the forefront of what is reality, then by the time it comes to tonight, she's forgot it again, which is good. You can. It just all blows my fucking brain. It really does.
They're not being allowed to reveal babies' genders and stuff is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard. And do you know why they're stopping revealing the gender of babies?
No, I actually didn't.
Because it's forcing the gender on the child.
And if this is it. It is so hypocritical. There's so many double standards. It literally always just sounds like a big fucking piss take that Matt fucking Stone and Trey Parker wrote for South Park.
It does.
So, you cannot force your child to be assigned or you cannot assign a gender to your child, even though if you read a fucking genetics book for 2 seconds, it comes down to 2 fucking chromosomes, and they can trace us back 5 billion years or something in the tree of life, and they can pinpoint the exact or the time in the evolution of biological cells and all that, where cells were created through sexual reproduction with those 2 chromosomes, right? But if you identify that in your embryo and then you assign that, well, you're forcing it, so now we're going to force you to follow this and believe that and think that and say that and say that and think this and call them that, and if you fucking don't, we're going to make you to be in a group of bad guys. Sorry, bad people. Not being very fucking progressive.
And like you said earlier as well, like, why is the minority of some mentally ill fuckwits having such a massive change on society? And why is everybody so scared to call somebody by the wrong pronoun and shit like that? Because who gives a fuck? And we're bigger and tougher than yous. You know?
It does, because the thing is, like, when we say something like who gives a fuck, the only things that I can think is that people that are on the other side of the discussion are going to be like, oh, we give a fuck because we're so oppressed. In what way? Do you have a job? Yes. Do you have a house? Yes. Do you get fed? Yes. Even if you don't have a job, you get fucking money for your government so that you can support your fucking self.
And they're allowed to adopt.
That's what I mean. You can have gender reassignment, which is cool. You can, if that's because that's the thing. I think what these people don't realise is that people do not have an issue with the idea of gay or trans or any of that. What people are sick of fucking listening to it. Every fucking minute, every day. You put on the telly, it's there. You open the paper, it's there. You walk down the street, it's fucking there.
You're standing working in your shop and people are talking about it in the queue. It's
It
there.
is absolutely minging. It's
ridiculous. And what you were sort of touching on there was what I was saying the other day about how I feel quite disappointed and quite angry at them as a collective, because I've spent so long being quite a positive advocate for how they should be treated with fairness and kindness and everything. Yeah. And now, because of all this bullshit, I'm just sick of it and I'm angry at them.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because this is what Piers was saying. He's been an advocate for them for years, but then he makes a flippant but very reasonable, logical question / comment outlining the ridiculousness of what some of these people are fucking saying, and then he's made it to be transphobic.
It's basically the case, if you look through history, it's like we take the LGBT group in one hand and the rest of the majority mass in the other hand. This group here, LGBT, got persecuted and everything for their decisions in life and everything like that. And then changes were made, good, justified, important, necessary changes to allow the rest of humanity to accept them for who they are. But then now they're just like going further and further. That now the rest of humanity is just going to go back to fucking hating them again.
Right, yeah, right. On the left, right, I don't mean left side, right side politics, obviously, in case anyone actually hears us. I'm just, imagine drawing a wee diagram. And on the left, you've got inequality and oppression. And right down the middle, you've got equality. And then on the right, you've got the polar opposite of oppression, which is special treatment. Right? That would be my scale. Oppression and inequality, equality, that should be the scale. It should be that. It should be from that to that, but it isn't. Because what you just said there, these groups were fighting for these changes long enough ago that today, a few years ago, those changes were well in place. You can look at Tommy. He commented on Mikey's post and all, and I made a mention of him. Because I was like, in case anyone's got to out me or try and out me as being fucking homophobic or something because you didn't agree, and I'm just so fucking sick of listening to it that's what I'm banging on about. Not to mention the hypocrisy, not to mention the fact that half of what I'm saying I'm being a facetious, sarcastic cunt because, well, when the gay guy starts his comment with, just shut the fuck up and get over it, I'll tell you what, mate, you don't deserve the fucking respect that you think you're entitled to. You're entitled to fucking nothing. You're lucky that you even get someone to speak to you. Because, like, if I walked about with that kind of attitude, you kick about the pub on a Saturday night with that kind of attitude, you're going to get a hiding.
And it doesn't matter what you look like.
Social justice keyboard warriors. Yeah. You know? What was I saying before that?
Tommy.
I said about Tommy, I was like, I used to work with Tommy, I've spoke to Tommy, I lived above him and his partner a few years ago. There was even one time years ago in the White Hart, I think it was back when I first worked at Morrison's, because I think it was the night Stuart was out, like my supervisor at the time. Tommy was in the White Hart I remember because he said that he thought I looked scary because I had a vest on with the tattoos and that. So this is like a gay guy that I've lived next to. I say hi to when I walk past him. I've actually been in a social situation with him. Declan, don't want to belittle males now that he's back to that. You can give him the respect he deserves. He's Declan. I would sit and talk to him after a while and knowing him about it because he never made a fucking fuss about it. And that's why Declan's alright. Because he was part of that and he earned the respect of just being treated decent. But
because he was a decent human.
Yeah, because he was just fundamentally a decent human. He never deserved the respect because he was a quiet trans. No, that's not what it is. But you have the trans and the gay people and the lesbians that make such a fucking fuss and hoo-ha out of everything that it's hard to no get angry at their patter. And that's nothing to do with disliking homosexuality. That's just disliking assholes.
Yes.
You know? Because there's, like, Like, there's plenty of fucking people that I dislike, and they're all fucking straight. I don't know one gay person I dislike. You can?
Well, I suppose we're sort of getting into LGBT politics here, but the person down the heart that keeps causing an absolute fucking stink. Is that person a trans person, a gay trans person, or...
No, that person's just a fucking idiot. That person that you're talking about is the epitome of exactly the kind of nonsense I'm talking about. Intrusive, arrogant, loud, brash. Eavesdrops and intrudes on people's fucking social circles and people's personal space, and that's not because he is trans, right? But that will be, I'm sure that, not to mention the fact that that fucker is definitely mentally ill, because let's not forget that that's the person that accused Tilson of being transphobic for refusing to accept an ID which was not a valid form ID, as well as it had an outdated image of when he looked like a boy. Asshole. Yeah. Fucking idiot. Can you imagine if I walk into the shop to get a pack of smokes and there's what looks like a female serving, right? And she's like, do you have ID? And let's say I didn't have my ID, or let's say I gave her my own driving licence, and she's like, sorry mate, I can't give you that, it doesn't look like you. You're a fucking male hater. I'd be laughed out the fucking door. Rightfully. Rightfully. Because let's no fucking make a mistake here. I'm no entitled, and I'm not looking for my idea or my ideas or whatever to be accepted by everyone. But it comes down to fairness. If you act like an entitled fucking prick, and you sit there demanding respect even though you are treating people like shit, you're not gonna get it. And that's the fucking issue with all these fucking idiots that I'm talking about. These people, 100 fucking genders, and if you say otherwise, then we're gonna make you to be a piece of shit. Or if you don't fucking take a fucking logo off a fucking fanny pad fucking pack, we're gonna make you to be a piece of shit.
And what the fuck logo are they even talking about? I have studied my tampons and pads, box, wrappers, instructions on the inside, where it's definitely a female hand that's shoving the tampon up the vagina in the bloody goddamn illustration. Where is the female logo? I don't understand it.
It maybe was a specific brand. It maybe wasn't even here.
Or is it just the fact that they're generally marketed to the female audience because they look outwardly like it's female colours and it's always females that are apparently in adverts? Even though the adverts for them... Oh wait, no, I suppose there is that chick with the tampons and the whole Mother Nature thing. Aye, it's all females there. I mean, what's next? Are they gonna fucking bring out adverts? Like, you know, like just cycle through like different adverts. One with a nice pretty female with a redress and everything like that. And one with a sort of less girly female, maybe like, you know, a goth. That doesn't necessarily want pink pads. And then they're also gonna have like the transgender dude in the adverts.
Basically what it is that a massive, gargantuan can of worms has been opened. And it's kind of like, looking at that, we're kind of like this. Kind of like squinted eyes, a wee bit worried about where it's gone.
A wee bit worried? I'm fucking terrified.
When this can of worms that's been opened, where does it stop? I facetiously, sarcastically made reference to these people being in charge and changing the colour of the pavements so that each slab was a different colour. But as facetious and ridiculous as that sounds, it's no more ridiculous to me
changing the tampons
than a lot of the bollocks that they go on about. And it's like, where does it end? You know, why are these so-called issues even being allowed to be a thing?
I mean, I'll just like pause you just for a wee second, right? Because obviously with topics like this, we don't want to be coming across as being bigoted, uneducated, aggressive fucktards.
Of course.
So I will just point out my very knowledgeable brain here. I did all this at university, you know. Debate tactics and rhetoric and everything like that. what you're describing there in the whole where does it end is a snowball argument and technically a fallacy, right? You can't actually use snowball arguments as a genuine form of trying to convince the other party of your point, because a snowball argument is there's no basis for it.
I'm not. I understand what you're saying there.
Yes, but I do still think, though, you know, if they're going as ridiculous as changing products on the shelves that are generally marketed to a target audience, everything is marketed to a target audience.
Yeah.
And if they're changing
Yeah.
one thing...
That's what I mean. I'm not trying to use that question or idea as a basis to because I'm not trying to prove a point. I've not got a point to make. It's literally just my thoughts on it and questions on why so much crazy stuff's been allowed to happen. But I wasn't trying to use it as that, more like as a point of moving forward concern, because where will it end? The thing is, some of the simplest packaging is just to make it easy to find it. You can, like
I pointed out the other day anyway, the tampons are in blue boxes. Blue, it's for boys. So what the fuck are they bitching about? What are they getting their fannies in a twist for?
Oh, they might not be though.
Oh, but they are,
Well,
because...
if it's trans women. Oh no, who is it that's actually making the fuss about this?
Chicks, born chicks that are transitioning
trans
into
men.
dudes. Yeah.
Trans men.
Yeah, so obviously they do have fannies because they need the pads
It's
and
so
tampons.
sad. It's so sad. Like, because what their issue is they walk into Tesco, right? They walk into the female hygiene aisle.
Oh no, it's not female hygiene
No, that's
anymore.
what it says. You know what? No.
Menstrual hygiene
No.
products.
In Tesco, because I was looking at it earlier on. I was running about taking videos like a fucking idiot taking the piss. I'll show you them.
I'm
I'll show you
upset
them.
that never was there.
Like, what they are actually making a fuss about is that wee sign that says feminine hygiene that makes it easy to identify where all the fanny pads are, right? It doesn't say trans. Who fucking... Why is that an issue? Why do you care so much about that? Like, yeah, man. If the BBC and their nonsensical programming aimed at children to convince them that this is how it is, and that is the reality, with no scientific fucking basis. You can apparently some scientists think there is 100 fucking who are they? I bet that. Who are they? I bet that's some fucking person that's done an open uni course for about 2 hours. You can read genetics when they were stoned out their dish or something and couldn't make sense of it and came out the other end thinking, oh, there's loads of them. Can you imagine, let's go forward 50 years and this has completely taken foothold and this is now the way that everyone fucking thinks, that these are issues that are worth making nationwide fuss about. They're going to be the same people, because us and all the politicians that are in office now, they'll be gone, and it'll be these people that are in there. How are they going to fucking comprehend the idea of anything when it comes to just politics and the running of a nation? If their main concern is we need to have fucking all these, to waste money on toilets for children so that we have little girls and boys running about together. You can?
Oh, I hate that. I hate it. Like, honestly, I know that for the last few years I've been just sort of like accepting the possibility that I might never have a child. But right now, not really fucking wanting one.
That's funny, Tappy said that earlier on and all. Tappy said that because I think they've decided they're no gatty ever. So he was saying that he was glad that they decided upon that because he would be fearful. And I kind of get that. Because I'll tell you what, see if the wee one came in, I would guarantee the skill and make a fuss, because I would pour out it. I wouldn't give a fuck. You can, if they're allowed to force this pseudo nonsense and poison my daughter's brain with that crap, right? Surely I should be allowed to say no, she's no fucking guarantee it. You can, like...
I mean,
But why not?
It's funny, though.
These people can gan on about what they want and treat people like they're fucking cunts and bigots and scumbags for not agreeing with their philosophy. I don't agree with theirs, so can I no treat them like cunts? No, of course I can't. I don't want to, though, that's the thing. You can't know about that. I genuinely was thinking that after speaking to you about this, I'm going to seriously just try and forget about it all. And ignore it.
It's going to be impossible to
No, I
forget
know, but
about
what I
it.
mean is I'm not going to, like, indulge in commenting or reading too much. I'm going to ignore it. Because my hope is, going forward, it eventually fizzles out a wee bit. There'll be all the unisex, sorry, multi-fucking-gender toilets. You can't... Like...
Basically, treat them like tantruming little children, and if you just ignore them, they maybe stop.
The irony hurts my brain. Like, you're not allowed to assign the gender to your child, yet you've got all these fucking people in this group, right, that are going about trying to force people to recognise their gender. But we're not allowed to do...
Aye, because what they're saying is we are enforcing specific, our ideal genders on our children, and we should let them grow up basically genderless
And
let them decide themselves.
Yes, right, that's what they're saying, aye, yes. But because their whole shtick has plot holes in it, right? They are saying that we can't assign a fucking gender. Like, I never turn around to Mish and say, by the way, you're a wee girl. She just is and she knows it. And she goes to school and it's just how it is. And I got through my childhood and probably puberty having never heard one fucking thing about gender and sexuality. And yet, I'm alright. You're not allowed to assign a gender because you're forcing it on them without them talking this nonsensical rhetoric. Children would never, ever fucking know a thing about fucking demisexuality.
What the fuck's demisexuality?
I don't know, but it's in a saw. I don't know. I
mean,
can't
I'm just
remember.
thinking Demi Moore right now.
Maybe that is one. Demi-sex, and then there's demi-2 sexuality, and that one's like where you're only sexually attracted to Demi Moore. Is that a thing?
What?
Could that be a thing? I know it sounds stupid, I'm being facetious.
I mean,
But look,
see, we're sort of crossing and muddying the waters here as well, because, you know, as educated people that are not bigoted, we have to obviously let the masses know that we are aware that there is a difference between gender and sexuality.
yeah.
Right? So they're going on about all these 100 genders, and there's probably like 500 sexualities.
Well, this is it. Yeah, right. There's just that is it though. It is a muddied water, and trying to siphon through it all is painful. You know? But what I mean is, children are not forced to believe they're a boy or a girl, right? That is just sort of like, it's not even assigned. You know, it is assigned when that egg is fertilised, and it's assigned if that SRY chromosome activates or not. That assigns the gender. Mm-hmm. Humans don't. Humans didn't look at a fucking female embryo and just think, you know what, to be a prick, I'm going to assign fucking butch gender to that one. And then that one's going to be fucking astrogender because it was born on a full moon, so it's something to do with the moon.
And
you know?
Just to nip this in the bud, butch gender, you know, that's not gender. That is other genetics playing a part in where the child, if it is a female, has probably more of the dad's physical attributes. And that is just genetics. That's how the world works.
Aye. It could just be a big fucking person that hits the gym. Butch motherfucker. It could be that.
I don't know. I wouldn't have said that Jodie Marsh was butch when she was doing her bodybuilding.
I wouldn't have said she was butch either. No.
But she was a fucking good
No,
bodybuilder.
but what I mean is butch is a term of physical characterization. It's fuck all to do with sexuality or gender.
No.
You know? But yeah, almost everything that the people in question talk about. It's just so easy to argue it while logical, even if sarcastic question, thought, notion, idea. Because nothing, what did you say a couple of minutes ago there? You said something and I thought, another thing, I can't even remember what you said. Been saying a lot.
I was saying, I was going to continue, I wasn't finished when I said about the gender and the sexuality thing. There's 2 genders, possibly 3 if there's a hermaphrodite in the mix. There is a bunch of sexualities, but it's either you're straight, you're full-on gay, you're bi, or you're completely asexual.
That is that you don't have a sex drive.
Yeah.
Right, I accept that. Everything else is just preference. That's it. And by trying to force idea that there should be laws and social constructs and such created to cater and just, cater to like all of this is ridiculous. You know? It's just crazy.
There's something else I was going to say as well, actually. When you were saying about children not being forced, it's not as if you've ever said to me, Shan, you're a girl, you will act like a girl, you play with girl things.
Yeah.
Like, you've never said that. Nobody ever says that to the kids. And the most that ever happens is, like, in my personal case, you're a little bit disappointed that Santa never brought you an Action Man.
Mm.
Like, that is about as, like, crazy mindfuck as it gets when you're a little kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, aye. That's what I was going to say. I have never fucking forced the fact that my daughter is a girl on her, right? I've also never told her that demisexual or vape gender is a thing, but I've also not told her that it isn't. But do you care what? She doesn't know about them because it's not a fucking thing. Because the only way you find out about this crap is to indulge in it and then basically believe in it or just play along with it and be peer pressured. And I think that's just like the nutshell of it. You know?
I think that we should start binary parades.
No, I don't even like that terminology. I hate it.
Well, I
hate
mean,
it.
I was going to say straight parade, but then that is just sort of...
If we started a straight parade, we'd get arrested.
Aye.
That's what can you imagine if I run down the street there going on about how much I love fucking eating pussy? I would be arrested for that shtick. But you can go down there and just act and speak.
XY parade. There we go.
An XY parade,
Yeah.
that would do, aye. Are we allowed to do that? Do we need to go and get a genetics test to make sure, you know, that you can...
Or we should just start these big safety ranches where, like, people that actually have sense can go and live in some sort of, like, protected community and have, like, an actual school that teaches actual...
Wait, who's going to stay at these places?
normal people.
No. They don't get to force us out and make us the outcasts, you know? They should go into the ranch, although I would call that ranch a fucking hospital. Or an asylum.
Shall we make, like, Rainbow Land?
Why not?
We'll make
Why
Rainbow
not?
Land and...
Let's make rainbow sexuality. What's that? Let's make it up. Rainbow sexuality where you only want to have sex on a sunny, wet day. That is no more, to me, no more ridiculous than anything else that I've fucking read or heard or watched in the last 2 days.
And you know what is really ridiculous? That if somebody from the
What?
LGBT community had said that, that would become a thing, because it would have to become a
Oh, yeah,
thing,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But when I say to AJ that I feel that everybody that was attacking me in that thread was being cisphobic, everybody's like, there's no such thing as cisphobia.
Exactly. That's it, you know? Because we are on that side where, because we are straight and not indulging in the idea that you might not be a female and I might not be a male, because we quite clearly are, that our opinions and the respect that we deserve for trying to have a coherent, even if at times sort of like taking shots at it, intelligent conversation about it, thinking about it, we're not allowed their thoughts. And if we did, because I would imagine that if anyone heard this and actually listened to the full hour, this might be 10 minutes, full hour, I could imagine the comments would be, unless it's just got to be other normal fucking people. It's, yeah, it's mental. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. But I think going forward, I'm literally just got to try and ignore most of it. You know? But you did, what you said there. They can say whatever they want and people lap it up. But people have to lap it up if they don't want to be made out to be a horrible person. Because they're the only people that are allowed to act fucking horribly and get away with it because they're doing it because they're oppressed. No, you're fucking confused and maybe mentally ill.
I wonder if you were to start a petition with the other parents of Noble Hill, I wonder if the school would have to stop teaching this bullshit.
Well, this is it, right? I don't actually know if it's properly happening there now, whatever, if it has been going forward. I just know that the BBC are punting this shit and it's meant to be at kids, and I think I maybe heard something about schools. Yeah. Did I say that?
Well, there's tons of stuff about schools in the media lately. I mean, what was it that was on the TV just last week or so? There was a head teacher of an all-girls school, and she was being berated because or no, was it not?
There was something like that on the Good Morning Britain panel with Piers Morgan.
I was going to say it was Piers Morgan that was speaking to her, and he was arguing with her because she kept contradicting herself. But she was the one that was saying that like the girls in her school shouldn't be called like or referred to as girls because it's forcing the female girl gender on them, but she kept calling it an all-girl school. Yeah,
because it is an all-girl school. Aye. There's no fucking people that were born physically a male at that school. Yet she's parading this fucking rhetoric for those people, even though it is only physically born females that are allowed in. Another giant hypocrisy.
Yeah. So
and every fucking part of it can be ripped to bits. And not even in a bigoted way. Just with logic and sense.
I would start a goddamn petition and stop this shit. Because see, when I was at the same school, Noble Hill, the biggest outcry where all the mums and everything were all up in arms was because we had a substitute teacher in primary 5 who had travelled to Saudi Arabia, and because she was like travelled and learnt about all these different cultures and everything, she was teaching what she had learnt to the children. There was like a whole big segment of the year was all dedicated to like Saudi Arabia and how they live and everything like that. And everybody, all the mums were going absolutely nuts because we were being taught about other religions, you know? And I mean, at least religion is like a thousands-year-old fucking thing, you know? Where, yes, it can be taught in schools that there are these religions and these are the different gods and deities and everything for all these different religions, and everybody has all these beliefs.
Even though most of those beliefs actually are the exact same across different religions with different deities to represent different things. But I get what you're saying.
Aye. But again, my mum hated that. My mum, she detested the fact that we were being taught about all these different religions. Because, I mean...
Probably just because they think it's a waste of time, irrelevant to a child's fucking growth and mental maturity and learning. It's crazy. There's like, you've got that guy, what's his name? Sion, is it Sion? Something? The guy that, remember a couple of years ago that I was telling you about, they were, going to be inventing something to no dredge the sea, but stop the plastic getting to the sea and whatever. That's up and running now. It's cool. These machines are called the Interceptor, and they sit in, because there's 100,000 rivers on the planet, and
That's a river for every sexuality.
so it is. Maybe that's what they're doing. They're maybe just quietly going through all the rivers, and they're like, oh, there's the Demi River, make that one. There's the Astro River.
Amazon sexual.
Yeah, no, you're foo-bang facetious. Love it. 80% of the plastic in the ocean comes from 1% of the Earth's rivers, right? And they sit these interceptors in the river. Long story short, with the river flow, the rubbish, it goes up the conveyor in the interceptor, and 3 of them are actually working right now, and it's cool. Because 3 of them are, there's a video above it, so the water, the rubbish goes in here, and the camera's above it, and it's like minging water and over the interceptor and then nothing, and it's so cool. You can, they're talking about mining asteroids. You know, you've got all the other stuff to do with anything. That's my point. You know, you've got all these different avenues, science and learning, and these great fucking things that humanity are doing, and this is the crap. And it doesn't surprise me that your mum was pissed off. You can, because this is, one way or another, entirely similar, if different subjects, to then. You can, and like, I keep joking with Mish that, like, sticking at school, do your maths, your English, do the sciences, and go to Mars when you're bigger. You can? That's not going to happen if all she's got to be concerned about through her entire fucking puberty phase and young adult phase. She's confused as fuck because she doesn't ken what toilet to fucking use, because she's so fucking confused in the head. She's like, is it that one? Is it that one? Is it what the fuck? It's like, I wonder if it's been allowed to happen to dumb down the population. To keep a reasonable number of the population preoccupied with crap so that other stuff can be allowed to happen. Yeah. We could ponder questions all night, but I want to watch Ink Master.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Next time we shall talk about how the rate of child depression, teen suicides is going to skyrocket because of all this bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah,
Teen
this is a kind
pregnancies.
of this kind of stuff that say is a perfectly reasonable point of concern, because there's many of them, but you can, these fucking children and older children and pre-teens, say, that are being fucking subjected to this, I basically class it as abuse.
Oh,
You can, it's fucking with a child's brain is what it is. And through all this, with all the confusion that, they're going to come out the other end, potentially in a darker place. Damaged, darker place, with way more fucking issues than 5 years before, when they'd never been subjected to nonsense about 100 genders and 3 fucking million sexualities. You can? It's like, yesterday I thought I liked pussy, but then I read this crap on fucking gender.wiki, and now I literally am going to sit in a corner on mine and be confused as fuck for a month because I genuinely don't know what to do, and I maybe don't even like my fucking bird anymore, or something. It's fucking crazy. It's outrageous. And I genuinely, just to finish off, I want to actually just fucking finish off.
Yeah, it's after midnight on it.
I certainly don't feel bad. It's nothing to do with feeling bad. I'd like to have a conversation with someone, a gay person, a lesbian, or a trans person in the LGBT, right, who is not succumbing to following this rhetoric, because it's not going to be everyone.
Beth.
Aye?
Beth.
Oh, I should maybe get Beth in your night.
Nice.
And get their views on it, because it really does just seem, or it doesn't seem like, it doesn't seem like. Well, there you go. It does seem like it, right? Because let's look
Well,
at.
actually, no. Tony is kind of more on the sort of mental side of
But
things. Tony's just nuts anyway.
It's just strange because it's obviously things are changing in society, and I don't mean the way that people act, although that will be a thing, but I'm on about what you're talking about. Changes in shops, changes in schools, right? And it's all over the media and that, but you don't really fucking hear too much about it out there. Like, there are 31,600 people in Dumfries approximately, and I, off the top of my head, have seen quite a few gay folk and quite a few fucking trans folk, and one of them I cannot fucking be arsed with for their bullshit manner that has got to be in part about this rhetoric today with entitlement and just you deserve respect and everyone's against you. No, you act like a fucking asshole and folk are got to be against you. That's non-heterosexuality. It could be dealing with anything. You can. So my point is when it's out on the street, it's not actually. It doesn't seem like it's actually as it is across the media and all that. It's strange. You know? Do you have any final thoughts?
I do. My final thought is that if everything is going the way it's going, and we'll just use a snowball argument and stuff, because, you know, even though it is a fallacy and you're not supposed to use a snowball argument, it is valid in things like this, because if they're going to start attacking tampons and pads, you know, something that is definitely a female issue, because you have to have a womb, you know, the thing that makes your womb man, womb right? If you have a womb and a vagina, you're a fucking woman, and therefore periods, pregnancy, women's issues, right? But if they're gonna attack all that and stuff, and they can't have that marketed to just females because it's totally like ignoring the existence of trans people, then yes, one by one, it's all going to change, and we're going to end up like that episode of South Park where that person comes from the future and they're just all like bald with like a total like neutral language, neutral looking, all grey, and everything in the world is going to be like, all the shelves are all going to be like cigarette packets, no labeling, no colour, no branding, nothing. And everybody's going to be dressed neutral. And everybody's going to be bald. I mean, I don't know how people are going to be able to reproduce effectively. I mean, what do we just
That's
have to
what I'm thinking. They'll breed their salute. They'll breed their salute. All the guys are getting vaginas and all the chicks are getting cocks that didn't have fucking balls and semen behind them. They'll breed themselves out. That is my hope. And this nonsense will die. It'll die when they die. This kind of crap. This will not last as long as religion. And religion's horseshit. But it will not last that long. That's my hope. Not necessarily my belief.
They took their jobs!
They took their sexuality!
I think we should actually, the people that we're referring to differentiate them from the reasonable human beings in these groups, I think we should assign a terminology. And I think that terminology should be the Nazi percentile. Which is why I want to talk to someone within LGBT who is not in the subculture called the Nazi percentile. I want to know what they think of this shit. You can
start a panel. We could get Declan and Beth, like two people of different subs of the LGBT.
Yep.
And then somebody that's got a normal brain. Well, not saying that Beth doesn't have a normal brain.
You bigot!
No.
That's your friend. How fucking treacherous must you be when you're talking about like not friends?
Because we're obviously thinking about Beth and Declan because they are normal. Okay, so we've got Beth and Declan of normal sensical brains that come under the different subcategories of LGBT, and then there's me that's supposed to fit the A in it, although I'm apparently a broken ally and need to be returned to the store.
Broken in what way?
Oh, that was what one of the comments was. Oh, if this is you trying to be an ally, Kelly, can we return you to the store? You don't seem to be working correctly. Fuck off.
Now see, here's the sad thing, right? If I was to say something like that, right, I would be taking the piss and slinging harsh banter and not being entirely honest with what I actually thought. That is what they actually think. Being a condescending fucking piece of shit. You can? Like, you have a different thought process or a different opinion, but unfortunately for you, we're the Nazi percentile. So you're fucking broken. No, you're mentally fucking ill, motherfucker. Fuck off. And this ally bullshit, nah, because I have no fucking issue with gay. I even made a comment on that thing like, how can I possibly be transphobe or that when I have literally been banging on with a guy to Thailand for fucking years and years for a laugh. Figure that you know. Right? Fuck, what was I saying before I said that? There's so much for final thoughts 15 minutes later. Yeah. I don't even... we could be going around in circles, but I don't think we are, because we're sort of like keep going with different wee thoughts and whatever.
I mean, the thing is, right, everybody in the entire...
Oh, no, wait, one sec, I need to cut you off, because I just remember what I was going to say. I have no issue with any of that, I don't have an issue with homosexuality, trans, any of that. I've also got an issue with people's behaviour. And unfortunately, the ones, well, not unfortunately the ones we're talking about, but the ones we are talking about are unfortunately assholes within that group. And they are probably the ones that are doing no favours in actually making true homophobic or transphobic people release those angsty thoughts, because those thoughts are ridiculous anyway. I mean, bigots and racists apparently, and I totally believe it, they're precursors and markers for actual lower intelligence, you know?
Oh, well, I know my intelligence is way up here.
Yeah. I have fucking 70 or something. So what I was going to say is, the idea that they went and put the LGBT blah blah A because you're an ally, well, I don't not support you, but I don't fucking support you either. You kid, it's like it should be a non-issue. That is the point. Gender and sexuality should be a non-fucking issue.
We'll add N to the end of it. So there's lesbian, gay, bisexual, LGBT, transgender, queer.
Queer because they're taking back the fucking the slurs, right?
I. What's I? What's I?
Inbred. Fuck, I'll tell you what.
Asexual, ally, and then you should add an N to the end for neutral, because neutral people, they're just like, aye, whatever, and don't give a fuck, I'm not against you, I'm not with you, whatever, I don't give a fuck. Those people aren't a threat, used in a
Very
bunny
close.
ears thing. They're not a threat to LGBT members, so they should be added as well. But apparently allies are supposed to physically advocate and strive to better
Oh my god, you
society.
know what they are? You know what? I've just thought another word what they are. They're a fucking cult. The
God,
Nazi
aye.
percentile,
Yeah.
they're a fucking cult within a genuine group that have worked hard for fucking years to get equality and rights and to be able to just walk down the street without being harassed or attacked or assaulted or verbally abused or whatever, you know? And is that even still going? Oh, fucking high-tech podcast equipment. Oh, it is still going. Wood. Right, do you want to finish up?
I've just still got so much to say. We're gonna have to.
Oh, we're gonna have to have another. I want you to. What we'll do is we'll take a break for it, and then we'll have a wee look at all the up-to-date news in a month or two, and then we'll come back and we'll do a sequel, right? I think what the last thing that I was going to finish off saying is, right, because I had it in my mind. Nah, I've lost it. I forgot it. Oh, or maybe just something along the lines of that. Gender and sexuality. They never have been a forced issue. They just are.
Yeah.
But it's the Nazi percentile that are making it a forced fucking issue. But then in return, they try and say that it's those not within that percentile that are forcing issues. And it's all just, as usual, a double standard, hypocritical, backwards, illogical, fucking horrible rhetoric. Ideological nonsense, man. Hate it. Hate it. Does me not in.
Well, my final point is there are possibly 3 genders. There are a few sexualities, because there is also the people that aren't wanting, they aren't like bisexual in the sort of like Tony level where you can have relationships with either sex, but they're just dirty little bastards and all.
No. Because sexuality is nothing to do with the capability to hold a relationship. It's not.
No, I was just, no, I know that.
Tony is bisexual because she likes dick and pussy, not because she can be in a relationship with both.
No, but then you've got the likes of me, and although I'm not interested in vagina at all, but because I'm not totally opposed to, you know, like...
All you can say.
I'm trying to think of a word it to actually, like, articulate myself properly to make my point. In a sex situation, monkeying around with females is not completely out of the question, even though I don't like vagina. I like boobs. Right? But I could never have a relationship with a female. So I don't consider myself, like, full-on bisexual, you know? But that's what I was going to say earlier, though, when they're going on about how there's all these different fucking hundreds of sexualities and stuff. It's like, we already know that, because that's what the human race is like. Everybody, all throughout history, look at the Romans, right? They were just fucking anything they wanted. Mm-hmm. Because that's, like, the sex drive in a human being differs and is in different levels, different things, different times, different things that turn people on, and that is just the way that the world works, and it always has worked, and you don't need to assign different names to all these different types of people.
But apparently we do.
But we don't.
I know, we don't. Because what's happening, basically, because what you just said there, right? Because all the wee nooks and crannies that you iron out trying to describe your thoughts, what you were saying there, it's just that. It's just your personality. And that's it. You can, it's like, but then again, I don't know. You maybe are bisexual. Just because you die want to settle down with a chick, maybe you would. It depends on what situation you would be with a chick. Like, if you done poo a chick and then take her home, then that's bisexual full fucking all the way.
Well, yes, because then if you're going to break down the actual words, it's sexual, so it is a sex thing.
No. What I mean is, because if, let's say an example for the other side, right? I'm never going down the pub, pooing a guy and bringing him home to shag him, right? But let's say if I was to, on a random occasion, definitely intoxicated, be up for slight fondling by a third party, in my mind, that is entirely because that'd be getting you off, and that turns me on. That is not the same as what you're talking about. Because you find attraction in lassies and are more open to just you and a chick. That's it. Which is different. Because then you're doing it for your own, what's the fucking word? Your own... oh shit, it's a fucking word. I've lost my vocabulary. It's for your
you're
own...
jumping at conclusions is what I was saying.
I'm not jumping at conclusions.
No, you are, because when I was saying that example there, I was meaning in a third party situation. I wasn't meaning that...
We never said that. I never jumped at a conclusion. I never jumped at it. You presented information. I made a conclusion. But that there is more information, so now I need to revise that conclusion. Right? Sitting here on our first ever podcast accusing me of fucking jumping to shit. You bigot.
So basically, what you've just said there about yourself is what I was saying. Like, you know, you're not going to go embark on a relationship with a dude because it's just not your thing. But have been in a sexual situation with another dude around is not out of the question for whatever reason.
No, never. Like, that never has been, like, because, but that's just probably your word, and I've picked up, like, the semantics of that again, because, like, the idea of, say, having a three-way with a chick and a guy, right, and he never fucking gets near me, that could happen, like, every other fucking day. That wouldn't bother me, you can? Where, like, if that guy was to touch me, then that's a different situation.
Yeah. But even just being willing to accept a naked dude in your vicinity
So that's me being comfortable with sexuality, yeah?
And is quite proof that you're not homophobic.
Oh, there you go, aye. Woo! Saw these in the future, 10 years, 20 years down the line, when you've got like 8 million fucking subscribers to the channel, they'll get to the end of this and they'll be like, fucking idiot. Oh wait, what? Shit, knew all my fucking rhetoric and all my backwards nonsense entitled crap. It makes no sense, but it makes no sense anyway. But yeah, so what I mean is that doesn't need any more definition. Is that
No, it
not
doesn't.
just
Yeah, that was my whole point.
Yeah, I know. So when I said but to do, I meant like that was sarcasm on the part of like them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
When really can you not just be like to me it's just straight. You can, because like it is, because like the whole fucking thing, it genuinely would stem from the idea of you getting off at it, and that in turn gets me off. No, the guy fucking stroke my dick, watching you like it, that is the turn on. I'm not even looking at it. It could be any hand.
What pigeonhole are they going to try and force me into then? Somebody that like loves dick is quite alright with some chick doing shit to me, but also gets off on watching guys.
Yeah. We should sort some of this out sometime.
But to me, because the only people that I would ever want to be in a relationship with is dudes, and I very, very much prefer dick and dudes and the guy form and the guy everything. I like boobs, but everybody likes boobs, but that's biology. That's just like because
Yeah, well, anyway,
sort of food source.
Am I allowed to say all girls are a wee bit bi?
I think that everybody in the world is a wee bit bi, but
Don't say.
I don't know. I mean, you've just admitted that in certain circumstances you are open
No, a
to...
very specific circumstance.
Yeah.
Because that's not even something that I would be comfortable doing for like some random chick. It would, and I've fucking thought about shit like this for quite a while now. And it's just, no, it's a very, very specific thing. Person.
So you're very, very specifically tiny, tiny fraction bi, potentially.
No. No. Under, like, no. I mean, I get the idea because I've thought this concept through. But I don't think so. Because I don't look at men and find anything attractive about them, where girls can look at other girls, and if they're not going to be that chick that's like, look at that fucking slag. Oh, what, because she's good looking? You can't, just admit it. You're just a wee bit bi. She's a good looking chick, she's got her legs out, so you're going to call her a slut. You can look at a guy and be like, you can be like, he's a fucking decent looking face, you can like suave looking sharp, you can suit on looking fucking sharp and dapper. I get that, but I'm not going to look at a guy and be like, ooh, I'd like to stroke his pecs. So it's very, very different.
I think as well we've got to bring in the whole boob thing into that, because yeah, you are correct in like statistically there is more openness with females being attracted to other females, but it's probably because of the boobs. And everybody
Yay
likes
for boobs. What about a transsexual man who still has boobs. That's a funny looking character. Let me think about that one.
No.
But then you get the best of both worlds. You get your male figure that you fucking love, and you get the boobs. In fact, that sounds perfect for you. Should you not be out there looking for a transsexual male?
That would just... I mean, a fat dude would do then.
Oh no, hold on, no, that's not right. I said that totally wrong, because you wouldn't know. I'm transsexual female that had an operation to have boobs. But then fake tits are fucking crap. Yeah. Oh well. I love how that went totally off topic a wee bit. Right, are we going to watch Ink Master?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. We're done.
Yes.
We're done!